So David Dobrik, one of the most watched and universally known YouTubers of all time, has announced his unexpected return to YouTube. Though, if you don't already know, David vanished a couple of years ago amidst allegations of gross negligence. At his peak, David was amassing tens of millions of views per video, as well as collaborating with the biggest creators in the world. His eccentric content kept his viewers hooked. However, all the stunts and bits revealed David's darker side. Whether it was because he blatantly overstepped boundaries, turned a blind eye to SA allegations, or encouraged a risky stunt that nearly killed one of his team members. One thing is for certain, David Dobrik is probably not a good person. So this is the story of why David Dobrik disappeared from YouTube and why his return should not be celebrated. To bring you up to speed, David Dobrik hasn't uploaded a YouTube video since 2022. He stepped away from the platform after addressing an accident involving his former colleague Jeff Wittick. This accident happened back in June 2020 and left Jeff, a former member of the Vlog Squad, with serious injuries that continue to affect him today. Since then, David has mostly stayed away from YouTube, only appearing occasionally on platforms like Snapchat, Instagram, and TikTok. However, on January 8th, 2025, he made a surprising comeback with a 14-minute video sharing highlights of his life over the past few years, including his impressive fitness transformation. The video coincided with the release of a documentary by xeela, a fitness brand David is invested in. The company was founded by his close friend, Ilya Fedorovich. At first glance, you might assume this was just a one-off video to promote his involvement with xeela. However, the vlog suggests otherwise. In it, David also revealed plans to restart his podcast, Views, which he co-hosts with Jason Nash. The timing of this comeback raises eyebrows, especially since legal proceedings in Jeff Wittick's lawsuit against David are currently underway. But what exactly is this lawsuit all about? Jeff Wittick's so-called friend, David Dobrik, recklessly swung him from the arm of an excavator, leading to a horrifying crash where Jeff hit his head on the machine. The impact was life-threatening. For a long time, whenever Jeff was asked about his injuries, he either avoided answering or gave very little detail. Many believe this was his way of protecting David's reputation. That changed in April 2021 with the release of Jeff's documentary series Don't Try This at Home. In the series, Jeff finally shared the full story of the accident and the emotional toll it took on him. He described the horrible injuries he suffered: torn knee ligaments, a broken foot and hip, 9 fractures in the skull, and most devastatingly, a shattered eye socket. The last injury nearly caused him to lose his vision and could have been fatal. Over 4 years, Jeff endured multiple surgeries to save his left eye, each one a grueling and painful process. The documentary presented the incident as a tragic accident, and Jeff avoided blaming David directly. However, as we'll see, there's more to the story. By early 2022, David's YouTube career was back in full swing, with each vlog raking up millions of views. Around the same time, Jeff underwent his 7th eye surgery. During a live stream, Jeff was asked about David's support during this difficult time.
Has David messaged you to see if you're okay?
Nope, not a text or nothing. Not surprised, you know? It is what it is, but I'm done being fake friends with that mother.
Jeff also admitted that the documentary had been edited to protect David's image. Initially, he thought he was doing the right thing by shielding a close friend, but this decision came at a personal cost. On top of all of that, David had actually promised to cover Jeff's hospital bills, but never followed through. This led to unpaid medical expenses being charged to Jeff's credit card, damaging his credit score and making it impossible for him to qualify for a home loan. After the incident, David Dobrik attempted to share his side of the story in the May 9th episode of his Views podcast, titled Discussing What Happened.
I can see from Jeff's perspective, it's probably really tough when he sees my videos and I'm traveling the world and I'm having this fucking time of my life. And it totally looks, I haven't mentioned this, no one can even tell that I want to blow my brains out.
However, his apology only made things worse. Many viewers found his explanation insensitive and self-centered, as he appeared unwilling to take responsibility and even portrayed himself as the victim. This narrative was further amplified during the filming of David's documentary with Casey Neistat, where he shifted the blame entirely onto Jeff Wittick. This angered the people even more, because David was actually the one operating the excavator during the accident, despite having no proper training or certification to handle this type of machinery. Blaming Jeff for the incident made David's actions seem even more inexcusable. For Jeff, who had already endured years of pain and surgeries, David's refusal to take accountability was the final straw. In June 2022, Jeff filed a $10 million lawsuit against David, citing negligence and intentional harm. The nearly fatal injuries and ongoing medical treatments had left Jeff with overwhelming hospital bills, and his life still hadn't returned to normal 4 years after the accident. As of 2025, the lawsuit remains unsolved, with both sides refusing to settle outside of court. Jeff shared on the Just Frisch podcast that David has tried twice to get the lawsuit dismissed, failing both times.
What is the status of the lawsuit now? Can you say that or no?
Yeah, he tried to reject it, dismiss it. Yeah, he tried to get it dismissed twice. The first one was, you said I was doing it for clout. The second one said I was his employee and I can't sue because I worked for him, which is insane.
That should be even more, actually, because
no. Nobody was ever getting paid. The goal was,
yeah, that's true.
You just all film together and you get exposure. You build your own. Or if you just really ride and do stupid maybe you'll get a car.
David's argument is that the accident is entirely Jeff's fault, claiming he willingly participated in a risky stunt for clout. This argument reinforced David's inability to accept responsibility. Though in October 2023, David's insurance provider, State Farm, filed a complaint against him, stating that their policy does not cover workplace accidents. This essentially means that State Farm doesn't want to pay any settlement to Jeff on David's behalf. If the company succeeds in withdrawing from the case, David may be forced to cover the costs entirely out of his own pocket. Meanwhile, Jeff has publicly urged Casey Neistat to release the documentary in full to shed more light on the situation. However, Casey has been hesitant to do so, citing politics as the main reason for his reluctance.
Because you brought up what I said about protecting David.
Go ahead.
I want to answer your question.
Yeah.
And I prefaced all of this by saying it's nuance, and that's why people don't like nuance on the internet, because they want to say bad or good.
Yeah.
They don't want to understand the complexity. So I didn't get distribution, and it was very disappointing to not get distribution. It was really disappointing, and I can share with you off camera some of the political reasons. When I say political, I mean reasons that had nothing to do with the movie. Our distro fell through, which was heartbreaking for me. Bullshit.
Some people still weren't fully convinced that David Dobrik was entirely at fault, but more evidence against him began to surface. As fans revisited David's older videos, his troubling behavior towards those around him became much clearer. One example was a now deleted video from November 2018, at the height of his popularity, titled "She Should Not Have Played with Fire." In the video, David invited a group of college girls for what was framed as a light-hearted and comedic hookup scenario. While a few viewers did voice their concerns about the subject matter, most dismissed it as harmless entertainment. However, in 2021, a shocking revelation about the video was exposed. On March 16, 2021, Business Insider published an investigative report. A woman featured on YouTube star David Dobrik's channel says she was assaulted by a Vlog Squad member in 2018. The report revealed that a 20-year-old victim, referred to as Hannah, was allegedly assaulted by David's childhood friend, Dirty Dom, on the night the video was filmed. According to the report, Hannah had been heavily intoxicated and was unable to give consent. What made the situation even worse was the revelation that Hannah was under the legal drinking age at the time. Despite this, members of the Vlog Squad reportedly provided her with spirits, raising serious questions about whether the events could have been pre-planned. Public's reaction was intense. The story quickly went viral on social media, and the backlash against David and his team grew even stronger. As the controversy unfolded, an old tweet from David resurfaced, where he joked, "If I left everything in the vlogs that I recorded, we'd all be in prison." To many, this tweet felt like further proof that David was more complicit in harmful situations than he let on, regardless of his exact level of involvement. The fallout was swift. Within 2 days of the report's release, one of David's biggest sponsors, SeedGeek, began reconsidering their partnership with his YouTube channel. Soon after, more sponsors followed suit, pulling their deals with David. The financial blow was significant, but it didn't stop there. YouTube also removed David from its partner program, meaning all of his channels were demonetized and would no longer earn ad revenue. David's carefully built career was crumbling in a matter of days. In an effort to salvage his reputation, he released an apology video. However, the public reaction was incredibly negative. Many felt his apology came off as self-serving and lacked any real accountability or genuine remorse for what had happened. Fast forward 3 years, and David Dobrik seems to have made a miraculous recovery from all the scandals that once destroyed his career. Despite the serious accusations against him, David's comeback has been nothing short of impressive. His comeback video has raked in over 7 million views in just a week. And what's even more surprising, he's now back in business with SeatGeek, the same company that seemed to be ready to drop him for good after the essay scandal. It's almost as if the entire incident never even happened. While David's stardom continues to rise, Jeff Wittick is still out there on social media, relentlessly calling out his former friend. Jeff has made it clear that he feels David's actions completely ruined his life, and he's not holding back when it comes to airing his frustrations. Jeff's online rants expose the deep pain and anger he's still dealing with. Yet, despite all of Jeff's efforts, David continues to stay silent or offer vague, sometimes pompous apologies that never truly take accountability. What's even more frustrating for many is how David seems to glide through the fallout. Despite the overwhelming evidence of his involvement in some serious controversies, it's as if nothing ever really sticks to him. The entertainment industry, with all its behind-the-scenes power players, seems to always give him another chance. Maybe it's just his ability to charm, or his enormous fanbase, or simply the fact that he still holds immense value in the YouTube world. Whatever the reason, David appears almost untouchable. The way the entertainment world continues to protect him, allowing his career to bounce back while Jeff and others are left to bear the cost, is incredibly frustrating to watch. It's as though the industry has a certain level of forgiveness built in, where the dollar signs, sponsorships, and viral success override the real-world consequences of someone's actions. As long as the views keep coming in and the money continues to flow, David's past mistakes seem to get swept under the rug, and for many, that's the hardest pill to swallow.